Hey there, Mission. I'm Tim Brown from Rick Brown Family Funeral Home, and I want to invite you to join me on Commerce Conversation, the business, community, and innovation here in Mission, Texas, the official podcast of the Greater Mission Chamber of Commerce. You know, each episode we're bringing you exclusive interviews with local business leaders, entrepreneurs, and change makers who are living right here in the Rio Grande Valley doing business here in Mission. They're driving innovation in our community. We will dive deep into the issues that matter to you, the business growth to community events and everything that comes in between. You can catch this podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Make sure to subscribe. Never miss an episode. You miss one episode, you miss a lot, so don't miss an episode. We're excited to share the latest in business and community news with you. We'll see you on the Commerce Conversation. Welcome back to Commerce Conversation, the podcast where we dive into vibrant business landscape of the city of Mission and the entire Rio Grande Valley. We're thrilled to share how the Greater Mission Chamber of Commerce actively supports our incredible community and offers innovative ways to help your business flourish and boost your brand's awareness. I'm your host, Tim Brown of Rick Brown Family Funeral Home, and today's an exciting episode. We're going to be exploring the City of Mission's impactful community initiatives and essential services. So get ready to discover how these programs are shaping our city and creating opportunities for everyone. Before we get started, I would like to give some quick updates on our Greater Mission Chamber of Commerce events. As we mentioned before, our Buenos Tardes Luncheon is set for Wednesday, August the 13th at the Mission Event Center. This year's event is going to focus on the state of current business here in Mission. You'll get to hear from leaders regarding policies that directly impact businesses today. It's a great opportunity for networking, collaboration, and gaining insight into our region's economic and social landscape. You know, we'd also like to give a big thank you to our Buenos Tardes Luncheon title sponsors, South Texas Health Systems and Texas National Bank. We appreciate your continued support. We also have our annual Business Awards Banquet. We do this every year. That's why it's called annual, but it's coming up on Thursday, October the 9th at the Mission Event Center. We're currently accepting nominations for Business Leader of the Year, Business of the Year, and Nonprofit of the Year. You can find the criteria and nomination forms on your screen via QR code and visit our website at missionchamber.com/chamber-programs. Please submit your nominations by or before Friday, September the 5th at 5 p.m. For more details about all these upcoming events, you can reach out to the Greater Mission Chamber of Commerce at 956-585-2727 or visit missionchamber.com. Now, moving from our upcoming events, we have a truly special guest. I'm so excited about this one. Today, we have Mayor Norie Gonzalez Garza. She's not only the esteemed mayor of Mission, but also recently elected president of the Lower Rio Grande Valley Development Council. Mayor Garza, thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure and it's an honor to be here.
So as you know, today's episode is all about the city of Mission.
That's right.
And you're the city of Mission. You're the heartbeat of it. So we want to talk to you. And we want to talk about the economic growth and, you know, everything that's happening, not only in Mission, but regionally. And, you know, one of the things I've noticed is that whenever they mention something regional, Mission is always right in the middle of that.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
And so congratulations, by the way, on this being president of, I guess it has an acronym, right? It's the LRGVDC.
That's right.
All right. Well, congratulations. I'm sure that comes with its own set of, you know, work and time and all that, but congratulations on that.
Thank you. Thank you.
So before we get started, it says I'm supposed to read your bio, but we're not going to do that.
Let's not.
All right. So let's just talk. You know, I was thinking this morning when I was getting ready, how long you have known me. I think I had hair.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't. You know, and
you weren't married.
No, I wasn't married. I was
just a kid.
I was still junior high or high school level. But you know,
that's right.
I want to think that your first delve into politics was the Mission School Board.
That's correct.
And you served on there with my dad.
Yes, I did.
Yeah. And you know, and I can remember as a kid looking up to you and my dad, and y'all were such good friends. And I'd look up and I'd think, man, these are the giants of Mission. And you know, now to be able to sit in the same room as you doing a podcast, you have no idea what that means for me. You know, to grow up in this city and watch your fingerprint on so many things in the city, and to be able to sit here and do this, I'm excited. But thank you for what you do for the city, by the way.
It's absolutely my pleasure.
You know, one of the things, the more you get involved in public service, the more you realize that it's a sacrifice not only from you as the servant, it's a sacrifice on your family. So, you know, thank you for your family to lend you to us every once in a while. That's for sure. All right, you ready for the tough questions?
I am. I'm
ready for the we wrote the hardest ones. We want to put you on. All right, here we go.
Okay.
So let's talk a little bit about your new role.
Okay. Yes.
So through your new role, how do you plan on fostering stronger collaboration between the Lower Rio Grande Valley Development Council, the local communities, counties, and other organizations, kind of like the Chamber of Commerce here.
Yes, yes. Well, it's very important for us as City of Mission to have a seat at the table where other elected officials sit. We don't just have, of course, because it's called Lower Rio Grande Valley, we have the 4 counties involved. We have
Okay.
Star, we have Hidalgo, Willacy, and Cameron. So it's an amazing group that meets once a month, and we go over all kinds of projects, drainage programs that are for the elderly, for the young, for transportation. There's
Okay.
just so much that's involved. Also, safety. So the public safety courses, like
Right.
to become a police officer or a firefighter, are funded by some of those programs.
That's interesting. I was just about to ask you, what exactly do they do? But that is interesting. One of the
Yes.
things that I learned recently that they do, there's some trailer parks, particularly in Mission. We have a lot of winter Texan parks.
Yes.
It's been difficult to find where the trailer is. And so now they have an address that is a 911 address.
Yes.
And all that was funded by the Lower Rio Grande Valley Development Council,
That's
putting that
correct.
together and addressing each one of those. And I'm sure whoever got tasked with that was probably quite the job.
That is because they're responsible for all our area. They actually assign, if you're not in a city, an incorporated city, they are responsible for assigning an address to your location.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so I've seen where some have, an address that's in the park and they have their little address, but then they have a 911 address when you call
Yes.
911.
Yes.
So that makes all the difference,
Absolutely. Seconds count.
Yes, and I sit on the ambulance board. Thanks to you appointing me, by the way. I appreciate that. But we presented recently how important seconds are.
Yes.
And I assume that's not just ambulance, but that's police. That's anything. And
Yes.
so being able to find someone when you need them,
Is important.
that's important.
It
Well, thank
is.
you for volunteering to be president of that. Okay, so here we go. We're going to talk about vision.
Okay.
All right. So
Yes.
vision is one of the most important things I think we can have as a community. But what is your long-term vision for the city of Mission? What do you see when you look at your grandkids living here? What do you hope this city looks like?
Well, we can start short term, which is about 5 years, give or
Okay.
take, right? And so I think that we are poised to be in a situation in 5 years that we are going to be well over 100,000 people in our population, which is amazing.
Right.
If you take a look at the census in 2010 to 2020, Hidalgo County had about an 18% increase in population.
Wow, that is
So
huge.
if we continue with that trend, it's, Hidalgo County is just going to be unrecognizable in another 20 years. And that's our hope for our city, because we are in a perfect location because of our proximity to Ansaldua's bridge for an expansion of our industrial area, which brings jobs, brings other opportunities and economic growth in our city, and not just our city, but the whole region, because it's important to remember that when the tide comes in, a boat does not float alone. All
Right.
the rest of the boats float as well. So it's important to collaborate and work together as a region.
Growing up and maybe the same for you, you grew up in this community, I
Yes.
believe, and you grow up and you just kind of think the city just does its own thing. It grows, but as you become involved, you start to realize there's so many people and so many aspects, so many organizations that help a community
Yes.
grow. Recently we did a podcast with Teklo,
Okay.
from the EDC.
Yes.
I had no idea how the city of Mission, obviously including you as a mayor, are out there looking for people to come to the city. And you drive south of the expressway and see all those warehouses and realize that didn't happen by accident. Somebody went out there and made sure that we invested it so that the future is taken care of here.
That's right. That's right.
All right, from your perspective, what are Mission's greatest economic strengths and biggest opportunities? And you know what? I will even throw it out there. Even what is our greatest weakness? Maybe you could do that. That's going to be a tough one.
That is a tough one, because we don't like to focus on weakness, but it's important to recognize it, because
Right.
that's how you can build.
Right.
But I'm going to say that our strengths are we have available land, which some of our neighbors do not have available land. And we have the support of our MEDC and our TERS boards that are very, very involved in economic development. And they encourage, companies to come to Mission and or our area, because the way that we should work is, if we can't accommodate a big company that's coming in for whatever reason, we look out to our surrounding cities, because what helps McAllen, what helps Edinburgh, what helps FAR, helps Mission.
Yeah.
So I think that because of our the availability of land to develop, I think that's our biggest asset and biggest strength.
And I'm really glad to hear you say, what helps McAllen helps Mission. You know, all too often, or for too many years, I guess, it just seemed like everybody was fighting for their own little piece of the pie.
That's called the Friday night mentality.
Yeah, that's right. You know what? We'll keep that Friday night mentality on Friday nights.
That's right.
And Mission will continue to beat McAllen and Edinburgh at football. But, it's so true that, what is good for them is good for us. And it seems like a new term, and I'm sure it's not new to you, but Rioplex.
Yes.
And that's really what we are, because people ask me all the time, like, are you in Mission or McAllen? Or they'll say, am I in Mission or McAllen? Yeah, you can't tell the difference, because,
you can't tell the difference, right.
It's all the same now. So I'm really glad to hear you say that. Now, talking about...
And, I don't want to interrupt, but I'm glad you brought that up. Rioplex is so important, because it brings to light not only the population on the north side of the river, but on the south. So we're about 1.5 million. We probably will be really close to 2 million in another few years. But there's another 3 to 4 or 5 million people on the other side that contribute to our economy on a daily basis, which, that's the reason why our sales taxes continue to increase annually. We're just, doing that consistently, improving our sales tax, which just means that we don't trend like the rest of the nation.
Right.
We do our own thing. We're very independent of those trends. So I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, and a lot of the decisions that are made here obviously are made with the other side in mind as well.
That's right.
And that's why Mission Sister City program is so important.
Yes.
I've seen us donate equipment and be there for them and let them know that we are brothers and sisters right here across the border. And so I appreciate y'all doing that. As we talk about weaknesses, I just want to say I think that one of the major weaknesses we have right now is water. And I was very grateful to be able to go to Austin with you, actually, this past legislative session. And I was grateful to see that every single person that went there had that in mind and brought that up. And, through the legislative session, we saw some big money being put towards that. And I think that Mission going to Austin, and we'll say it, on Mission Day in Austin, I think that had a huge impact, that we got up there, we told the story of Mission, we told the story of how important it was, not only you, but the other elected officials, the Chamber of Commerce was there. I just think that made such an impact on Austin that's why some money got released.
That's right. So there are grants available for our local farmers. I think that deadline has come and gone, but that was a big, huge help that our Congresswoman facilitated that grant. So that was really, really a positive thing. Recently, the City of Mission issued a $10 million bond issuance, basically, and some of that money will be going to a study for our water needs. So that's going to be something that we have to be ahead of the game, because we need to be ready for our expansion and our population growth.
Well, I appreciate being proactive, not reactive.
That's it. It helps. It helps.
So this next question might be a little bit tricky to answer. Obviously we have some great schools here, but answer the best you can. How is the city working to ensure a skilled workforce is available to meet the needs of our local industries?
It's very important that we collaborate with our local schools, not only our K through 12, but also our higher learning colleges. And we do. We've done that in the past few years. We have STC at our seed building, and UTRGV is also there, and we have several other
I think
colleges.
Texas Women,
Texas Women's is there, yes. So that's important. It's important to me, because we all know that education is the economic equalizer.
Right.
So, having the school board background, I bring that to the table, which I think that's one of my pluses. Recently, STC has given out, I believe, about $1.5 million in scholarships to Mission residents. So to qualify, you have to live in Mission, and I believe you have to have at least 6 hours already into the program. But it's a scholarship program that's available for all our Mission residents, and that's at STC.
Yeah.
And so that's important to know, and I wish that everybody knew that, to take advantage of that. 'Cause
STC, I don't think people realize how many programs that they have.
It's an amazing school.
It really is, and we are blessed to have them here, right in our own backyard.
Right in our own backyard, that's right.
But the truth is, even on the south side down on Ware Road, I took some classes down there recently, and I look on the wall, and I'm like, everything from floral design to aviation. I mean, it's pretty amazing that they pretty much touch every aspect of the community right through there.
Yeah, so they don't just hand out, bachelor's degrees. They have a really great certification program. In all kinds of things.
Yeah, plenty of industry-specific certifications there.
Yes.
Okay, so earlier you talked about 10 years, probably, or 5 years, about 100,000 people here in the city of Mission. Now, all my friends that are not from Mission, they're jealous, and I'm going to explain why they're jealous.
Okay.
They come to Mission, and they said, and I'm going to show my age, and the gray hair gives it away a little bit, but they say, Tim, it feels like Mayberry here.
Okay.
And so everybody knows everybody. Everyone hates going to H-E-B with me because it's not a 30-minute trip. That's usually about an hour and a half of saying hello and talking to everybody. But all the things that I love about Mission, how as we grow, how do we develop that in the new people that are coming in, the next generation, and how do we preserve that feeling that even though we're 100,000 people, we're still the small town?
Right. That's super important to me because, like, I've born and raised in the city of Mission, and I had the opportunity to leave, but I didn't. And and this is where I chose to raise my kids, and thank God, most of my grandkids live in the city of Mission, which is a good thing. And it's important to educate our younger generations on the history of the city of Mission, the history of how we became the city of Mission. The citrus industry, the Oblate Fathers, all of that is very important, I feel, to educate and let the kids know how we started. We have a really great museum, and they've done an amazing job. And of course, our Chamber of Commerce is A++++. I'm going to say
we'll take the compliment. Yes,
absolutely. Brenda and her staff have done an amazing job as well, and I see it because I've been here for a while. I've been here a few cycles.
You've seen some different leadership.
Yes, I have, and I'm very impressed with the progress that they have made, and I feel that with the historic preservation efforts and the Chamber of Commerce and our city and our schools, we can really keep that small town feel and educate our kids.
It's funny you talk about the history, keeping their kids. I have a daughter, she just graduated from high school, and so she had to drop her vehicle off. And so we're driving down Conway today, and she said something. She says, what did all these buildings used to be? And it opened my mind up, and I said, well, this was Donlinger's, this was Bob Howell's, this was, and it became, it was almost like walking down memory lane, driving down, and my dad would tell me stories about Mr. Donlinger, that if someone passed away, he'd deliver a refrigerator to their house because he said, I know people are going to deliver food to you, and I want you to have a refrigerator for the next week. And, and stories like that, that's what we have to keep alive. People have to, and not only that, but we have to be the next generation that someone else behind us is telling those stories about.
Exactly. That's important.
But I'm excited. I absolutely love Mission. I did leave Mission. Growing up in high school, all I wanted to do was leave Mission. This little town, all I wanted to do was leave.
Everybody thinks that.
So I left for a year, went off to mortuary school in Dallas, and for an entire year, all I wanted to do was come back to Mission.
Back home.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and you know what? God has been good to me. I've loved every second of it ever since. But that's important. I'm glad that you see that too, that preserving the unique character of this community is so important. Okay, I got one last question for you.
Okay.
All right. So if there's one thing that you're the most excited about in Mission's future, what do you think that would be? And hopefully it's something that not all of us know about. Don't tell us it's a citrus parade. We all know about that. We want something what's the juicy stuff? What is it that you are most excited about the future?
We have some really big plans that are going to be unveiled very, very soon. We're going to be expanding our Lions Park. Okay. We're going to be expanding Leo Peña Placita.
Okay, good.
Yes, and we're going to have some road improvements that are going to be amazing. That everybody's been waiting on for years now, actually. And I think one of the things that I'm really excited about is the collaboration that we recently signed on with the Missions School District.
Okay.
So we're partnering with the schools on a couple of locations to build detention ponds, which is going to really help the areas of Citriana and Bryan and Elm, or School Lane, whatever you want to call it. But that area has always been a problem area, and there wasn't really a lot of solutions for it.
Right.
And I really think that this is going to make a difference.
Yeah, that is exciting. And, I will tell you, I'm sure you know this, but those road improvements that everyone's going to be excited about, they're not going to be excited when it's going on, but they'll be happy when it's done.
Yeah,
all
so
right?
I'm gonna apologize in advance.
There's going to be some delays.
Yes, there will be some delays.
It's going to be okay. And, driving south Mission, like you're going towards the Grand Heno area, that's exciting too.
Oh yeah, a lot is happening
There's
over there.
There's a tractor on every acre building some sort of infrastructure.
Yes.
It's pretty impressive.
Yes.
And I don't know. I just think that there's so many things that you're probably not at liberty to say right now, but as you drive around the city, it's easy to see that there's some exciting things going on
There
here.
is.
Okay, so this is your chance to shine. Is there anything that you want to say before we say goodbye to everybody?
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed it, and I hope that I brought some light to what's going on in the city of Mission.
Well, and what I'm hoping is that maybe you and I can do this every year.
That sounds good.
And have another podcast, and we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll come back to this one and see. Okay, how do we do now? Where are we
There
at?
we go.
And move forward.
Yeah.
But thank you
Yeah,
so
we can
much,
do that.
Mayor.
Thank you, Tim.
All right, I'm grateful for you.
Thank you.
What a great conversation with our mayor here in the city of Mission. One thing I will tell you about our mayor is that she is always available to you. And I know that from personal experiences. I can reach out and give her a call, and it doesn't matter if it's in the middle of the night. She's happy and willing to take care of you. And I think that if you don't have a relationship with her, make one. Give her a call. Let her know who you are. She'd be happy to sit down with you. But those were great takeaways. I'm grateful for you, but thank you for being here. So let's reconnect next time, and we're going to learn from some other city leaders. Hopefully you can connect with us as we connect with our community. After all, here at the Greater Mission Chamber of Commerce, we believe that your success is our success. We're going to have a word from our sponsors.
Whether you do business in Laredo or Monterrey, Austin or Guadalajara, Oklahoma City or Mexico City, IBC Bank was founded on the border between the United States and Mexico in 1966. It is a place where we speak your language and understand your culture. We promote bilateral trade at the highest levels of government, whether it be Texas or the nation's capital. We advocate for sensible strategy to address immigration and trade relations. We know the issues that matter to you. At IBC, we do more anytime, anywhere.
Again, thank you to IBC Bank for all they do to take care of our community. And thank you to everyone for listening to Commerce Conversation, where we focus on topics like business, the community, and innovative projects. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to the podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Don't forget to follow the Greater Mission Chamber of Commerce online for more updates and content. We look forward to having you join us again for our next episode. This has been Commerce Conversation, hosted by Tim Brown, Rick Brown Family Funeral Home, produced by the Greater Mission Chamber of Commerce, and edited by the Greater Mission Chamber of Commerce. See you in the next episode.